Yo, dog, Katie Boucher here, Next Level Painting.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Juice, always keeping it icy.
Special edition Thursday, I believe. I got my the co-host of Forge the Narrative, Juice, with me.
Yo, keeping it real, just kicking it with Kenny.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys first off for watching the Night Titan video yesterday. Thank you. Please share it. And also, as usual, thank you guys for checking me out on Patreon, and thank you for subscribing.
Yeah, without a doubt. So we actually got a big shout out, thank you to Andy Collins. Big Ultramarines fan. We actually got not even a big shout out, but we got a little tips and tactics for you here.
Yep, special edition tips and tactics, the Andy Collins edition.
Yep, here it is. So, man, we just want to go in some details on how solid still Tactical Marines are, drop pods, and Tigurius.
Man, Tigurius is one of my favorite characters of all time. Talk about one of the truest pimps of all eternity with the ability to reroll all second powers. He's a 3-wound librarian. He lets you reroll reserve rolls for Ultramarines, and I think his warlord trait is any friendly Space Marine unit could just reroll their mishits that turn.
Yo, it's free prescience.
Yeah, like
without casting it, without whatever else. Pair that with the Ultramarines doctrine, and I mean, you realize that now it's like now prescience, even though it went to a level 2 psychic ability, it isn't that big a deal in the Ultramarines army because of the fact of the built-in buffs that him and the Ultramarines give you.
Love it. Yeah, so obviously, if we talk about Tigurius, we got to talk about Marnius Calgar.
Man, and again, so
talk about somebody who keeps the pimp hand strong.
Man, he keeps it so strong, he has to bring his left hand in involved as well. So needless to say, he is a close combat juggernaut. But let's not forget the versatility that he gives with getting extra tactical doctrines.
He lets you do the rinse and repeat strategy that has been coined on the internet by somebody, credit pending. So obviously, Tactical Marines, you can pop the doctrine once per game that they can reroll all their mishits. And if you're not a Tactical Marine, you get to reroll once. He says you get to do that twice.
Yep.
So that's a huge deal. And in our opinion, one of the best ways to stack that as an Ultramarines player is in drop pods.
Yeah. Get close, use that bolter. Like, you got to remember the truth of what a bolter can do. And a point that you like to always bring up, what can Tigurius do for you when you're dropping down with all these rapid fire bolters?
You can, he gets to almost pick. If you say I want 1 psychic power, he pretty much can get it for you almost every time. And in this situation, misfortune is not to be overlooked. I mean, so that misfortune even on like certain armor values. I mean, you know, rending, which makes obviously it's a malediction that makes all shots against that target have the rending special rule.
Yep, exactly, and it's something like misfortune gets overlooked because of the fact with Tigurius, with the reroll with the staff and everything else, people immediately want to shoot in to try to get invisibility, level 2 psychic or level 2 warp charge.
Yep.
They want to get prescience, level 2 warp charge. They want to get all these really dope spells, but then all of a sudden, what? How many dice are you really bringing to the game where you consistently cast?
If you just say I want to do one thing,
no, that's it.
That's it. Then we're not trying to go crazy here.
Yep.
You know, you just but here's the cool thing. So like, strength 4 bolters on a 6 are basically strength 11 plus a D3, right? So you can start interacting with Night Titans. You can, I mean, like if you have someone as a Night Titan and you drop 50 Tactical Marines in on all sides and you misfortune that Night Titan, I mean, between all your melta guns and all your rending bolters, man, you could do some work.
Yeah.
And that's just a Night Titan. I mean, like what about regular stuff?
Yo, exactly. Andy, another tactic out there for you. The first, you immediately want to go after misfortune, right? All of a sudden you get it. You still get 2 spells. Now all of a sudden, try to get that invisibility. Try to get something. The whole time you know you're not going to cast it because you don't have the dice.
No,
but it's a mental thing. Yeah. So what you've done now is you're going to just limp on with your 2 or 3 dice to get misfortune. The guy's like, oh, I got to stop invisibility. But you know in the whole time you've only got 2 or 3 dice left. You don't have enough for invisibility, so you really don't care. He will never try to stop
misfortune. Catch him slipping every time. So I like a maximum drop pod drop army with Ultramarines. I want to see 40 to 50 Tactical Marines in drop pods. And if possible, I want to see 40 to 50 dropping in the first wave. And I think one of my favorite ally choices possible is this is the second time I've mentioned these guys on the show, is the Champions of Fenrith Company of the Great Wolf. Because you only need elite choices and 1 HQ. And my favorite thing to put in a drop pod is a Grey Hunter with a combi whip. And those are elite choices, as it turns out.
No, exactly. And what I really like about some people, whenever they do drop pods, they kind of want their elite units in. They want their Terminators, they want everything else. They kind of forget that the meat and potatoes of that army are the 50 power armor guys.
Every time.
Right? So don't feel that just because you got Marines Calgar, you got these HQs, you got these Terminators, that they need to come down first. That's actually not what you want. You want to put these 50 bodies down. You want to let some things, because you combat squatted, you've done everything else, you've done the tactics, preset and determined. Now, all of a sudden, you get to counter the opponent's army, the opponent's elite choices, the opponent's heavy support choices, where they've repositioned. Now you get to counter them, not with just some troop choices. Now you get to drop down.
Yeah, you're gonna drop in, they're gonna react, and you get to react to the react. That's why drop pods are so deadly. Additionally, so if we're saying that we like Ultramarines as the meat and potatoes of the troop base, because you want to get as many of these bolters to use, rinse and repeat, combat doctrines, etc., then the backbone elite is obviously going to be this Champions of Federalists, some of the stuff I was talking about. My favorite HQ, obviously, your favorite HQ too.
Yeah, my favorite HQ from the second I picked up the book, immediately looked at Auric the Slayer as being a true OG.
He's so good. I mean, like, preferred enemy bubble. And let's say you can just get, if you just snagged up 2 Wolfguard squads and drop pod, and they were just, let's just say you just had 2 5-man squads and they both had just commie meltas. Mm-hmm. So that way you have 10 commie melta shots, and they can come down with Auric, and they just have a preferred enemy bubble. Like, that is huge. But my favorite thing of all time is absolutely plasma guns. Combi plasma comboed off with the preferred enemy is the truth.
It does so much work. Like, all right, so Space Wolves don't get graph. All right, that's fine. You don't need it when you're dropping down with 10 plasma
20 guns. Plasma gun shots that reroll 1s to hit and 1s to wound.
Oh my goodness. Like, there is not much. So, and I also would like to point out something. We have just diagnosed 2 to 3 independent characters that aren't just acting of themselves, that aren't just whatever.
These are buffs, man. Support characters. Yeah.
For your army. You got to remember, when you're talking a 2,000 point game, a 1,500 point game, you want your HQ, your 200 point character, your 150 point character, or more, not just to help himself. Yo, if he's not helping the rest of your army.
You can do a Super Friends type of character, just goes in there, 13th Warrior, the Popeye wind up, knock people out. I love that style myself.
Yep.
But
used it a bunch.
It's awesome. Well, you'll probably have more success using support characters though.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Yeah, and especially when you build your list around it. All of a sudden now we've got Tigurius, we've got Ulrich, we've got 50 Ultramarines, we've got 20 or 10 Space Wolves dropping down with Melta, where everybody's rerolling everything. Now all of a sudden we've got a solid, super mobile, super everything army. Like it's very tactical.
Yeah, when you put that many objective secure units on the table, and if you got, like, obviously another thing we didn't talk about with Gerson Pimp Hand, Marnius Calgar, he lets people, we sort of touched on it, but he lets people just fall out of combat.
Man.
The God of War, like, that is super crucial when you combat squad 50 dudes into 10 units, and someone does exactly 3 wounds from you, and they're getting ready to charge you and finish you off, and you're just like, no, I'm just going to fall back.
No,
and then you fall back, and then you win the game, and you walk right back on the objective, and the objective secure. He didn't get to kill you, and you got to take the objective still.
Yeah, and let me just put it in perspective. People build Death Stars, people build armies around hit and run, right? You get hit and run
before
without
combat.
being in combat.
Yeah.
You get the truest, best, greatest form of hit and run. There's no more getting walked off the table. That's a 5th, 6th, before everybody else's time. Like, this is one of the most important things that OG MC does.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a beast, man. And, like, you also can give him the fake Terminator armor. I think it gives him Relentless. Mm-hmm. And if he has Relentless, he also can do an Orbital Strike.
Yep.
So you're talking...
He can move and Orbital Strike, come out of the thing, Orbital Strike.
You could also make a mini Death Star with him. Like, let's say you wanted to play, just, since we're on the subject, let's say you had 40 or 50 Tactical Marines in drop pods, and then you want Company the Great Wolf, and you snagged up... You don't even have to get Ulrich. Let's just say you wanted 1 unit of, like, Wolfguard Terminators, right? And then, like, 3 Wolfguard Terminators, Marnius Calgar in there, and a Blood Angel Sanguinary Priest. Like, you can drop that in, still dropping 50 Marines and maybe a Devastator squad. Like,
yeah, because you're saying that you can do this whole unit for under 550 points. Now you've got good, cheap, invulnerable saves on the arms of those Space Wolves, you've got the feel no pain aspect coming from the sip cup from Blood Angels, and then all of a sudden you got Punchy McPuncherton in Meridian.
You got a bunch of 2-up saves, a bunch of 3+ and vulnerables. So if you wanted like a real sturdy unit to distract people, you could always have something like that. There's so many ways you can go with this. What I urge somebody who's making a drop pod army like this is don't get hung up on the special weapons. I mean, don't get hung up on the don't get hung up on special weapons. Like just melter guns, dog. Don't even worry about it. Like it's the only gun we're taking unless you have a Wolf Guard squad and you got 5 of the same weapon. Like if you're taking 5 tactical marine squads, it's 5 melter guns with 5 commie melters. Don't worry about the 10 points multi-melter. Half the time you're not even going to be in position to shoot it yet again. Like, don't even worry about it, man.
Yeah, and another point to going on what he just said about the multi-melters, man. I know snap firing's a thing, so you can always do, you can this and that, but look, this is how I feel about it. Sometimes you do drop down, and sometimes you are in every position that you want. But 9, maybe 5 times out of 5 or something of the sort, what you're going to want to do is you're still going to want to be maneuverable.
You're going to have to move because what happens is you drop your guys in, they all move. You're going to have to move too. You're going to have to move as soon as you hit the ground with a drop pod army or else.
Yep.
So like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna not need that multi-melt. And obviously there's going to be that one clutch situation where you're like, man, if I only had a multi-melt.
Yeah, if I didn't have a multi-melt, if I had one and I rolled this size 6 now, and furthermore, if the game is on the line and the only way for me to win is me to take this multi-melter and snap fire it at something and 666 it. That's literally what's going to happen.
You're having a great game, and first of all, you're having a great game.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and so like, pretty good addition to tips and tactics. I don't want to go too much farther down that. Obviously, hit us up in the comments. We got a lot of new things in the horizon. I do want to talk about a lot of things I've been hitting you guys with. The Long War. You guys may have heard us talking about it. You guys may have seen a couple of things here and there. I will begin telling you guys what it's about. If you guys haven't already noticed, I have a new video up on the channel intro. It talks about a shiny new battle report in the grimdark future where there is only war. We're going to be trying to hit you guys here really soon with some new content, with a lot more tactics, a lot more battle report stuff. We might even try to do some live events. This is something that, as you can see, I'm introducing you guys to Juice. Juice is like our resident tactician who's always staying up. He reads all the source material. He gets all the high scores in the Beats laboratory,
Yeah, so, I definitely logged some fair time in the B lab. So, and that's what it's about for me, man. Like I don't like to paint too much. I don't like whatever else. It's really heart and soul goes into the measurement, the power slide for my rhino to make sure I drop somebody out at the right time. Everything else. So
the trifecta, if we can agree, like so, Warhammer 40K is about building models, painting models, and playing with models.
Yep.
So we're trying to hit you guys with all of that, bringing hobby back. All of those are 1/3 of this hobby. They all have to matter.
Yeah.
So we're trying to hit as many people with that concept as possible to bring hobby back. And if you guys don't mind, hit me up in the comments. How are you guys bringing hobby back? Like, what are you guys doing? Because I know you guys are all bringing hobby back because I'm getting all the comments. I see the messages. So I just want to share that with the world. I want everyone else to see what's going on out there. First, one of the first things we might do is very soon we might have a live battle report. Like back on Forged Narrative, we were doing these a lot. Third Thursday battle reports. You can actually check out the Forged Narrative YouTube channel.
Yep.
And you can see them all up there. This was something we were doing a lot, and we recently kind of stopped. Our location got taken from us, and very cruelly. All joking aside, things changed, right? So we might want to actually come back to that. We don't know exactly, don't quote me, but I know if it happens, you're definitely going to see Juice rolling some dice at some point in the table, dropping some knowledge bombs on some people and helping people, advance that element of the hobby. You're going to see Rob Bear here really soon, showing you guys that high level tweaking like that, building them sick models to that high level conversion. Obviously, if you watch this channel, you know that we teach people how to paint. So we're going to be doing all of it here really soon.
Yeah, super fresh. Love it. Man, I hope everybody tunes in, checks out some of the old stuff, and then especially whenever some of this new stuff drops, you let us know how everybody likes it. Definitely still want to make sure that we give 2 more seconds out, and I want to give a big shout out to Jason Horn. Thanks for tuning in, kicking Kenny up.
Yes, you are a patron of the art, sir, and thank you.
Yep, and one more real quick before we move on. Fallen Cypher, man. OG, always
one of my truest patrons of all time, and I think maybe Aaron Fortner. Am I reading this right?
Yep,
got it. Thank you. You're all Patreons. Your support means a lot to me. That's how, like I say this over and over again, and I know people have heard me say it before, like rolling their eyes because I'm very repetitive, but there are also new people coming in every day. And the only way we're going to bring hobby back is if we work together. Bringing hobby back is about hitting as many people with this as possible. Not just one-on-ones, but 1-2 on all of yous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And this game was started and has been created this whole time, not just playing one person playing, not with just two people finally buying some models and only playing each other. This is a social game. This is a game that you talk about, that you live about. We play 40K because we want to put the 10-15 hours in a week. This isn't a video game that we pick up. So, you know, we have to respect the game. Part of respecting that is making sure that we bring back every bit of love.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So the last thing I want to hit everyone with is a quote that I heard today, actually from a friend, a dear friend of both of ours named Mike McCaffrey. I talked to him for a little bit today on the phone, and one of the things he said to me I thought was pretty interesting. It was kind of so we say social contract all the time. We all kind of have our own definition of it, but his definition of it was really interesting to me, and it was that when you're losing to somebody, like let's say you're employing all these tactics, and you say you win most of your games, you win almost all your games, but sometimes you don't. It's selfish of you to be sad about that, to be upset that you just lost this game. The social contract needs to be upheld. Like if Juice just beats me right now, I'm selfish if I'm not exactly as happy about it. Like he just won and he's a friend and we've entered into a social contract. So like that's the wisdom that I got hit with today, and I liked it, and I liked it enough to share it with you guys. So remember, when your opponent wins, it is exactly as much cause for celebration as when you win.
Yeah, that's exactly, because you want that to be flipped. If all of a sudden you just took a tragic loss, you want to make sure that, you know, some of that thunder isn't stolen away from you as well. So, I mean, you know, from all aspects, you want to come to the table, making sure your models look as fresh as possible. And furthermore, for everybody who can't paint like Kenny or Rob or all the best painters out there, it doesn't mean your time and effort it can't be the same put into it. You know, I don't paint the same, but you want to know what? I take care in making sure all my models are painted, are based before they touch the table, before this and that, because I want to make sure that my opponent is getting the same satisfaction about looking out across the table and seeing all painted models, about seeing, you know, all the best tips and tricks. I'm not trying to, you know, cheat somebody in a movement. Is just important to some people as cheating them with their eyes.
Yep. It's like we say, it's all elements of the hobby. Everyone gets love in a different way, and we're trying to bring it all together. That's going to be hitting really soon. Don't want to drag it out too far. I'm gonna let Juice close it out real quick with his. I know he's got something he's been working on.
Yeah, without a doubt. So also I want to make sure that Arch Dixon, make sure that he gets some loves. Thanks for tuning in.
Ooh, another one, Arch Dixon, last one of the night.
Yep. There it is. So just look, make sure, keep your eyes to the future. You'll see what's coming up. There's a lot that's building right now. B Laboratory is on full effect on everybody's front. So I know everybody's going to be loving it. So y'all make sure, as always, to tune in. Make sure you hit the likes, and always keep it icy.
Thanks for watching, players.